My next guest on today's podcast is Deepanshu Manchanda. Deepanshu is a serial entrepreneur, investor, and a mentor. He has an amazing perspective when it comes to the entire startup ecosystem and how to run a good business and a profitable business. Deepanshu is a founder of ZappFresh, a fresh meat delivery service in India, especially only restricted to Delhi. You'll be surprised why only Delhi as you traverse through the conversation in this entire podcast. But he's also been the original co-founder of Licious Meat, which is one of the unicorns in India. If you want to know how to run startups and how startup should be run in a good and a profitable and more importantly in an ethical way, especially in the food and beverage sector, you should not miss this podcast. I hope you enjoy this conversation as I have enjoyed today. So look forward to hearing your thoughts on how Deepanshu is running his business and looking forward to hear your thoughts. Without much further ado, let me get on with it. Hi Deepanshu, welcome to Masters Decoded Season 3. Really glad to have you on the show.
Hi, thanks, Anish. Pleasure to be here and look forward to talking to you about various things. And I'm very, very happy to see this initiative. Let's start.
There are many topics I want to double click on today, Deepanshu, but candidly, I just want for the listeners and people who will be watching this on YouTube, you want to talk a little bit about what you do currently, and we'll go into how you landed separately, but what you do currently for the benefit of the audience.
So I run a startup called ZappFresh, which is a fresh meat D2C brand. We started in 2015, and it's been almost 8 years now. And the whole project is about delivering fresh meat at home, which is your chicken and goat meat and fish and seafood, ready to cook, ready to eat products. So all fresh meat products is something which we focus upon. And currently we are operating out of NCR. I'm based out of Delhi, Gurgaon, and we have been running this only in this market as of date.
Okay. And this is something which I want to really first start off with. Today when you think about startups and they think about scale, I want to conquer the country, I want to conquer the world, and I want to, get everything, every possible, capture the entire time, which is total addressable market, and get over. But since the last 8 years, one thing which has been very unique to y'all is y'all just stuck to your roots, which is just your home base, right? Why is that?
So because we always knew that we first of all have to have a belief in the fundamental of the business. If there is fundamentals in the business, then only there is sustainability. That's something which is very, very true to my DNA as an individual also. When you get into something, you do it for the long haul. You don't do it for a short term spurt. If there is anything in terms of कि कुछ बढ़िया चल रहा है, कुछ फैशन में चल रहा है, तो सब वो करने लग जाते हैं. So I don't believe in that. And that is how I think we have been able to discover the category. Because meat किसी को कभी भी enticing नहीं लगता था, right? We still went against the grain and did something very, very unique, which required a customer behavior to be shifted, perceptions to be changed of all stakeholders, including employees, including prospective investors, families. I mean, the lives were shaken around the category when we came. So if I think as a personality, it is there with me where we are stubbornly sticking to some few things which we really believe in, and in my view, we really believe in profitability, and making a cost effective project overall, where there is a sustainability angle in the project rather than just growth and then retracting from markets and winding up offices and all of that. It's just too embarrassing, and I think it's a little immature also. You're not this is not some something which is which is that where you can play with people's lives, where you
Agreed.
can hire and then fire, and it's just too much hassle. And as an individual, also, I think on a personal level, it's stressful. Why do you want to get into something which is going to give you a sleepless night? I have chosen entrepreneurship so that I can be free on my own way, in my own terms, and run my business in my own way rather than what the market and people are looking for. That should be considered, but not should not drive you wholly towards that direction in that way. So your fundamental, your understanding of the market, your strategy, and your startup, that's something which is paramount to me, and I stick with those plan of actions, and we still believe that one market is still big enough, considering if you look at FMCG,
Yeah,
categories, many products are there. So many products are there which you don't even know about, right?
agreed.
I can think of some soap brands which I used to see as a disruption and great products which are only available in South, which were never there in North. So,
Yeah,
but they were still thriving, right? So like that, there are many brands. A brand story is a depth story. It is not a width story, in my view. So our story was always that we want to create a brand. If you want to create a brand, why do you want to just brush off the market? Why don't you go deeper? If the
hmm,
market size is not big enough, then that's a different issue. Your business is looking at it, but we believe that there is ample amount of consumption. India as a consumption story is huge,
huge.
massive,
Yeah,
no matter
huge.
no matter what recession, everything. So do stick to your basics, create a good product, and then keep penetrating in one geography till the time you feel comfortable as a business, and then grow out. Nobody should be forcing you to grow out of the geography, which in startup world, I have seen a lot that where investors are forcing startups to
Yeah,
expand, and they do that, and then after that, investors also pull out, saying that, okay, now you have opened 5 markets, and they're like, okay, but we are only sustainable in one market, or even not in one market.
yeah,
So you just have crazy amount of stress and abandonment issues as a startup, when everybody is going to just say that, okay, this is it, money is gone, and now you are back to square one, and then rethinking the strategy. What's happening today in the ecosystem is exactly the same thing. People are are on the whiteboard thinking, what do they do? There
yeah,
is no way out. It's a very, very sensitive and scary situation for companies. How can you see a business is like a baby? You grow it like your own baby, and then
yeah,
if you are ill treating the business, it's going to give it back to you. It's karma with the business also.
yeah. No, you opened up so many can of worms, and I think the first thing which you spoke of, and the last piece which you touched upon is the investors. Your company is invested. Correct me if I'm wrong. You have
Yeah,
investors on
yeah,
board. Uh,
we have.
yeah. So, and you spoke about the business fundamentals like profitability, revenue. And today, this is one of the questions which were there in back of my mind. You have, you know, in many ways there are many things which happens when you get an investor on board, right? They start having FOMO. Oh, there is another competition who's basically doing an IPO, who has a GMV of this, who has so many subscribers, and then they have so many markets, they have so many product portfolio SKUs, and you're saying, I'm just being laser focused. I'm going to focus on my business fundamentals. I'm going to get you revenue. I'm going to get you profitability, and I'm going to get your money back, right?
Right.
How's that conversation goes on? I'm sure you are having your quarterly reviews with
So,
your investors.
yeah, see, interestingly, we have attracted investors with patient capital. Okay, they were not, get rich quick schemes kind of
Okay.
believers, anyways. Okay, of course, everybody wants appreciation as much as possible, but I mean, the bag, we've had some mixed bag, but largely I would say 80% of our investors are patient investors,
That's good.
which were believing in, a sustainable business and not really killing the business by, making it burn more and more and more. I think we were never able to attract sequoias of the world.
Hmm.
And I don't think so we could. Now we can probably because
And do
the
you want
entire
to? Do you
no,
want
no.
to?
See, in my mind, investor profile, is secondary. The first and foremost is the person and the vision alignment, which is there with the person involved. Whoever,
Yeah.
brand they may come with. But what resonates with me is that if my ideology, my vision of the business is aligning with your business vision, if that is there, I think it doesn't matter, if it is, the Koyas of the world or whoever it is coming to
Yeah.
invest. So we stayed true to the vision as much as possible, and in that, whoever wants to, build it together is welcome to do that, and that's broadly the modus operandi. There is no other secret sauce, to what you believe in, and how do you get what you want. Stick to your story, and then the right people are bound to, come to you with the right strategy. See, the strategy of the business is not done in isolation. It is created while taking consideration of the market behavior, the dynamics, and everything. So
Yeah.
we are not creating something which we are not believing in a strategy which is which is actually completely very difficult to digest and process. It
Yeah.
is just that a certain type of investors, align to it, and certain types of investors don't align to it. Now, interestingly, what has happened, is that as of today, I mean, we've been the other day, one of my investors, told me, you are the Panshu cockroach Manchanda. And I was
Okay.
like,
Okay.
everybody's saying that this guy doesn't die. So I was like, yeah,
Hmm.
I will not die because I'm not, a rocket ship which will blow anytime. The risk factor with rocket ships, I mean, they go up also, but they blow up as well. Nobody
Yeah.
talks about
The blowing up.
blowing rocket ships and the success rate of rocket ships which everybody in the startup system is building. So we were never a rocket ship anyways. We were always like, walking and talking like a cockroach, and then attracting, investors who like those kind of companies and ideologies. So overall point here is that you get the right people on board if if your strategy is right, and that's where we have, my experience and my understanding of markets have helped me curate something which does have takers in the market. But yes, we do it, the way we want to do it. Investors have understanding of the market, but they don't have an experience of running business. So we run that, and with due respect, we take that kind of liberty with whoever comes on board.
That's good. That's good to hear. In fact, I saw a recent LinkedIn post which you made where you spoke about one of the investors, pretty influential one, and you said, you know, uh, kudos to the business fundamentals, which you spoke about, that having a strong business fundamentals really helps startups to survive. Somewhat similar to what I just said. And that kind of really resonated with me. There is a lot of this sense of FOMO that, oh, everybody else is doing it. And today there's one of the big players, and you've actually co-founded that previous company. We'll talk about that, who's talking a lot. But building on this, what you've just said, I want to take a different dimension, and there are two dimensions which I want to talk about. Uh, Correct me if I'm wrong. You don't have your own farms where you're breeding your own
No,
meat.
we don't.
Yeah.
We are moving towards that. In
Okay.
the next growth chapter, we are going to be deeply integrated, with a lot of farms and farmers, which are women farmers. So there's a
Nice.
new initiative which we are building to enable women farming, in tier three, tier four clusters.
Okay.
I mean, there are going to be more partnerships in that, but largely we would be coming up with a very new offering for the consumers, which will
Okay.
have a a farmer impact kind of angle, where it's a responsible brand and a responsible movement, which we will come with. As of now, we don't own farms, we don't run farms, we buy from farms, but even there, the engagement is on a very, very limited manner. We are not getting involved in their business. But in the new chapter where we're launching a new health range, in that we would have a say, and we will hold a certain decision making when it comes to those farmers and the quality and everything. As of date, it is limited. It will expand to a more autonomous kind of a relationship, and deeper engagement with these farmers who we are going to work with.
So, building on these partnerships which you have with these different farmlands, you also have competitors who are talking a lot about volume and scale. They have an advantage over you because of the scale they will have. You're very focused towards the Delhi NCR region versus somebody who's national. How do you convince them to have the same quality of products which you benchmark versus they would be doing for others, because there the scale comes in. So do you see any impact of that?
See, scale comes with problems also, Anis. Let's understand that scale is not only an opportunity, but it's also a headache. Okay,
Yeah,
especially for a business like ours, which is a perishable category. Okay,
yeah, super
and
perishable actually.
yeah, exactly. So that I think we are very overcautious about. I would call myself as overcautious when it comes to expansion, especially in our category. If it would have been, any other category like fashion or health or something else, which does not have this kind of a perishability, then going left, right, and center, and doing expansion is not that scary to me, because
Hmm.
there the product itself is breathable. Here the product will kill you,
Right.
so you are killing the product first, and after that the product will kill you. So you choose what you want to do.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I think there is, first of all, a big enough market out there, and no dearth of consumption again, and that's precisely the reason which makes us stay away from all the chaos and all the show off which happens, and in a way it helps us, because all of our competitors are multi-million invested companies, and they are creating a
Profitable.
market, and it's benefiting poor companies like us. So by
Poor. Yeah.
creating yeah, I mean, for them we are very poor, right?
Yeah.
So that ways, they're leading the pack, which is good. I think they're good as leaders, and they have a role to play, and we have our own footsteps and role to play. So we are doing that. We are not, there is overlap in terms of customers. What we see, sometimes the customers are buying from us, sometimes our same customers are buying from them. So
Yeah.
that, I think, happens in every business. Okay, you cannot own the customer, especially today when brand loyalties are out of the window. Earlier, when there was lack of awareness, there was no digital, people were sticking to a few brands only. Now, I mean, the universe is so extensive.
Yeah.
You cannot, I mean, expect, I mean, even if, so you can aim, but I think if you expect the customer only to be just glued and buying from you, it's a smart bugger these days. They're looking for, not only for discounts, even if it is a good ad, they'll go there. A bad ad, they'll not go there. It's like, they're very, very erratic in their behavior.
Yeah.
And I think, so we are all trying to understand that pulse of the market, of the behavior, and keep changing communication strategies around what attracts them. So all those levers are there, which we use to which we pull to get them on board.
Yeah. Let's. I want to definitely double click on this consumer aspect or the customer aspect. The category which you are in, right? Is me. I can tell you from my own household. Uh, if you have to ask my mom or my wife that they the meat line, the answer is no. No,
our household is traditional. They will go to a local butcher shop or go to the local store, see meat, touch meat, whether it's fish, whether it's prawns, whether it's meat, red meat or chicken or whatever. They still want to see what going to be, getting on your plate at the end of the day. And today, uh, definitely COVID in the last 2 years or last 3 years has really changed a lot of perspectives. But I want to get to that consumer angle is that you have consumers who were traditional, that you have these people who are local to them, they would go to those local folks. So that is one kind of competition you have. And then you have the other competitions, which are these national players, which we've been talking about. And then you have now these unique high-end shops or local and global chain. When I say global, India-wide chains, whether it's Nature Basket or Food Halls and Reliance and all of them who are fresh, they having now meat as a big category which they are focusing on, and all types of meat. What you spoke about consumer being erratic. When do they choose you versus they choose others in your perspective, and why is that?
Yeah, so I think what we bring to the table to this customer is responsibility, which is missing, which was
Mm-hmm.
missing in the category. I remember when, before all of us were there, when we used to go out and buy meat, and you buy from a, meat store, he was completely monopolistic about a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
I think to till this day also, it has improved slightly, but it is still there, where he doesn't really give a damn about customer expectation.
Yeah.
Okay, he brings something to you, he price it and he said लेना है तो लो, वरना boss this is what it is,
Yeah.
या फिर available है available नहीं है. He doesn't care about you as a
Mm.
customer. This happens a lot in meat, which
Yeah.
was surprising to me. So that's where the whole idea actually came, and I was like, boss, if I'm giving you money, okay, in this age, in this era, when the customer is the king, you are the king here, you are not, you're treating me like a servant. And
Yeah.
why is that? I wanted to understand why is that. The reason, why is that? Because we got to understand that later, that why do they do that? But this is not the
Why do they
right
do
way.
that? Why do they do that?
Because they're tired of handling the supply chain.
Okay. Interesting.
They think that they're doing, which they are doing a great job of making the product available, for sure, the quality, all of that. It goes a lot. I think this kind of supply chain is very complex. It's not easy to build, and if they're surviving, if they are giving you a good quality product, trust, there is a lot of effort which goes there. For me, I'm not talking about Tom, Dick and Harry. I'm talking about a store which is still, doing a decent business.
Yeah.
Of course, a lot of stores do a shoddy job as well. But I'm saying, the right ones at least will act a certain way, because they know what they're offering, which is not there in the market. So that way they act a little,
Yeah.
pricey, and then, be a little authoritative. But I would still disagree with that kind of behavior, because you cannot, in this age, you have to be thinking and listening to the customer, and then giving him what he wants, no matter whatever the problem is. That's your problem to solve, right? That's the reason you are making money. So but again, those people acted the way they acted, and that resulted into us launching ourselves and thinking that we can do a better job of treating customer right, of giving them what, is basic. It's not something what they're asking is out of the blue, and it's we are charging more also, and we are doing our own gundagardi as well. So that will not work. You have to, get your act together, and if you don't, we will show the customers what a good product looks like, what a right price looks like, what the right delivery is, how do you sell any product, and meat, especially meat, because it is more perishable and sensitive to temperature. So this
Yeah.
requires more of you than anything else. It's high value. It has a high probability of bacteria multiplication and resulting into various issues. The other day, I think about a couple of years back, I came across a very serious complaint, which was from one of the leading brands. I don't want to name them, but where the consumer had some eye infection after
Wow.
eating their fish or a prawn or something. I was this is what scale does to you, Anis, in a category like this. Your
Yes.
thinking scale, expansion, and fast expansion is sexy. In our category, it is not. It is
Yeah.
dangerous. So so that's the reason this product line is more sensitive. You have to treat it right and then charge for it. The customer will pay for it. So I would say that we are more responsible, and we are more serious about the category as compared to the local guys. That is what the major difference is. And the seriousness is basically shows in every aspect of customer interaction, handling, experience, whether it is quality, whether it is price, whether it is packaging, every little thing. We have really gone deeper in understanding that what is best which we can offer, and then sticking to that offering and SOPs and delivering that. That's about it.
Yeah. And the category which you are in, and especially in a market like India, meat. I often joke. People ask, "Would you eat veg or would you eat non-veg?" Typically, but in India there is a degree of vegetarians and there is a degree of non-vegetarians, right? If somebody has to put a
Yeah.
barometer, we will have,
Yeah.
probably people you can classify them into, like, you will have vegetarians, people who would eat meat but may not have eggs. There are
Yeah.
so many of them.
Now we have vegan also.
Yes,
Now we
veganism is
have
a,
new fads are coming.
yeah.
So this category gets a lot of attention.
Yes, good and bad both, right? So
Good and
I,
bad.
yeah, and I want to talk about the bad aspect, and I want to double click on this from a multiple dimensions perspective. Meat is, like you said, is a very prized, and typically people would, until unless they're affluent, they would eat meat every day. But typically in India, meat eating is, it's tied to an occasion, tied to a special moment, tied to a weekend, when it is a special day or a special moment. So that's one aspect. But meat is also looked upon as a very from a religious context. And I want to now, take this point of view with multiple. First is your own family. Sorry, I will use that word, but one fine day you get up in the morning and say, "Aaj se main kasai," right? Like,
Hmm.
I'm going to sell meat. Oh,
Yeah.
what was going on with the family?
So see, so as an individual, as I told you that I'm a stubborn guy. Okay,
Yeah.
stubborn to things which I believe in. Okay,
Okay.
and it may be wrong or right. If I've come to a certain decision or a conclusion, 80% of the time I stick with it. Okay,
Okay.
some deviations can happen, but most of the time I stick with what I want to do, because I somehow feel that I'm party to my share of mistakes, and nobody should come in between on my mistakes. They should let me do happily, and then if they want to support in that mistake, fine. If they don't, so that way I'm being very independent as a person, right from my college days, where I haven't really taken any shit from anybody, any help from anybody. That ways you could say that I'm a self-made guy, not to boost and come across as like that, but because you are that, there is very little interference, which will anyways happen to you as a byproduct. so
Yeah.
so it's a personality type which filters out a lot of interferences and participations of uncalled behavior in your life, and then some gets filtered early, some gets filtered later. I had to filter it with my family, and I did that at the age of 30.
Okay.
And I stay away and did my own thing with meat, and nobody believed actually in this. Just since you're asking, nobody thought that this is a disruptive idea, or even if it is a disruptive idea, that I can do it. Okay, we have a lot of people who want to pull the other person down. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I have seen in families, in relations, in friendships. not many people are motivating you to really do what you want to do. Okay, it's not about what they think is right and that's what you should be doing and that's the only thing which they're going to motivate you to, but it's a lot about your own discovery, right? So I think as parenting, of course now parenting is evolving, but the age which I come from, I'm 37. That generation of parents always had opinions and very strong opinions about what you should do and what you should not do. So we have really, at least I have uh, gone past that, and going forward I am bringing my children up with that kind of freedom and independence where they need to discover their own life as they move forward. In my life, I have went through massive struggles, man, both on personal and professional level. So I think I don't know where to start from.
You want to share
So
one example of what that struggle was,
see, yeah, I mean, uh,
if you
it
don't mind?
happened when I was 10.
Okay.
My father met with the accident, being a child, being an elder child in the family, and that age is when you are just coming into the teens, start thinking about entertainment and enjoyment. I got completely responsible, from the age of, I think, 13,
Wow.
14. I was forced to take the stresses of the family, which is going through a not only through a medical turbulent life, but also financially completely broke as a family. And I think my wiring happened, a lot of my wiring happened around that period when I got obsessed with making money,
Okay.
and learning the art of making money, and so that how one day I would ensure that my family does not have to go through a financial issue, bare minimum a medical problem coming to you. So because medical problem is something which you cannot really foresee, right? In any family it
Yes.
can happen.
Yes.
So my again, that was also very fundamental, right? That was also fundamental, that okay, इतने पैसे होने चाहिए यार कि कल को कोई अगर प्रॉब्लम होती है फैमिली में तो we have money. It should
Agreed.
not be that you are completely broke,
Yep.
and you mentally broke, you're physically emotionally broke, completely broke. So that was the, I would say, the driving factor that really pumped me up, that I need to ensure this, that no matter what, कि कभी कोई ऐसे इतना वर्स्ट सिनेरियो हो जाएगा लाइफ में, तो ऐसी प्रॉब्लम नहीं आनी चाहिए. सो अब वो वहां से वो मैस्लो थ्योरी ऑफ नीड्स है, हायरार्की ऑफ नीड्स एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट, तो वो वहां से शुरू होता है, धीरे धीरे यू गो अप. तो अब
Yeah.
वो तो पीछे छूट गया बहुत नीड्स वाला, but
That's true.
but that's also because the economy has grown, India as a country
Agreed.
has also grown,
Yep.
the income level have grown. So it's not that I am some some Elon Musk kind of a guy, but the point here is that you have to be in that bandwagon of growth as
Yep.
an individual, as a personality. Driving factors for everybody are different. For me, the driving factor was accident of my father, where my entire childhood shook. I don't have a childhood, in a way, if you ask me that. I think the mental trauma which I've gone through as a child has is something what has built me, and luckily I've been strong enough to be on myself and be myself, and also support. So that I think happens a lot to a lot of middle class guys. So
Yeah.
it's not like a very rare story. I think uh, this is very common. It's just that the belief which the child or an individual really loses, okay, when there is nobody with that person, and then how you still keep going in that perseverance and determination. I think that is something which I'm born with. That has not come from anything. That has come from somewhere deep inside, and that's a very important piece if you are building a good healthy life, because if you don't have that, you will be belittled and easily swayed away by everybody in life. So that I think if you have a strong fundamental on, तो फिर सब आसान हो जाता है, that you are true to what you believe in ना. उसके वही बोला ना, वो बहुत जरूरी है यार, कि मतलब आपको पता होना चाहिए कि आप क्या कर सकते हो विदाउट listening to what people are saying. तो वो बचपन से ही आ गया था, because
That
मतलब
was
कुछ
your
था ही,
other advantage.
there was
That's
no
been one of
choice. I would say there was no choice.
yeah.
मतलब आपको चॉइस ही नहीं थी अपने अपने ऊपर बिलीव करने के अलावा. what else do? You get into self pity, you start becoming start drinking. So I don't drink, I don't smoke, kind of my lifestyle is fairly simple from that point of view. अब वो खैर पैसे भी नहीं थे तो कहाँ से शौक पालने थे, पैसे से शौक बनते हैं ना,
Yeah.
तो गरीब को शौक नहीं बनते हैं. तो दैट्स हाउ और पर्सनैलिटी टाइप हमारी बन जाती है कि आदत नहीं लगी क्योंकि पैसे थे नहीं तो खर्च नहीं हुए. So so that way I think it's a minimalistic lifestyle which suits an entrepreneurship life also. So resonance है बहुत. एंड एक चीज बहुत क्लियर थी आई थिंक स्कूल टाइम से, कि मेरे को अपना धंधा करना है. बिजनेस वाज समथिंग व्हिच आई वांटेड टू डू. डॉक्टर नहीं बनना है, इंजीनियर नहीं बनना है, कुछ नहीं करना है. क्लियर फोकस था कि ठीक है एमबीए करो, सब बिजनेस का जो भी करना है करो, कोर्स वोर्स, उसके बाद अपना बिजनेस करो, दैट्स इट. दैट वाज
Interesting.
very clear to me.
Yeah. And this is not your
So
first rodeo also. This is not your first
not at all,
entrepreneurship.
not
Yeah.
at
And
all.
I'll talk about and I'll talk more about it. But I just want to go back to that consumer piece, and I'll come back to your childhood and your career and how that shaped up. But I'm sure somebody watching this podcast when it goes live, you will have people providing feedback whether they believe in not eating meat philosophically, like we spoke about veganism, which is more philosophical and nothing more than that. And then there is the other aspect, which is pretty big in India, which is religion. And I'm sure people will be saying, and when you think about meat, there are types of religion who eat meat also, right? For example, there are people who would eat halal, right? And there are people who would eat only jhatka, as in the India word, right? And then there are people who would, they don't care in terms of how the carcass is much butchered in many ways, right? Or the animal is butchered. But you would have, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are going to come in and saying, oh, you're doing wrong, you're eating meat and you're killing animals and all yada yada yada, right? How do you deal with that aspect in your business? Because that can be a little bit of stress also. And I'm sure there will be a lot of people who will comment and saying, hey, can you do a little bit of check on your processes and all of that? So how do you deal with that?
So, see, that's precisely, we are, as I told you, that we are moving towards, responsible farming. So in this new chapter of, ZappFresh 2.0 is what we are calling it. We are going deeper in the farming part, where
Okay.
we want to also do good to the farming community.
Okay.
See, what we all know that agri as a sector in India is under deserved, right? It's under penetrated, underpaid, everything. Okay,
Yep.
and meat part of that. So we are not
On the
something else.
growing vegetables,
Part of,
yeah.
yeah, we are part of the farming business. So under that we are doing some good also. So if somebody say that okay, we are a brand, as a brand we have carbon footprint issues and all of those things, that the water usage, exploitation of environment, all of that is one side. But now what we are going to do is increase income levels of farmers. So let's say if per capita family income is 1500 rupees, for example, with them selling to us, it will increase to 2100. So our target, our score, our goal is going to be giving back to them, and by removing all the intermediaries from the supply chain, and also ensuring that it is a quality produce which comes out of that. So a lot of other initiatives are going to be part of this project, where we all as partners are enabling, giving, supporting these set of women farmers also, not only the men. In fact, women farmers are very few. If you see where do you see women farming? I think some tea gardens are there in Assam where you would see women farming or doing some part of it, but this is purely women farming, backyard poultry farming, is what we are building upon, and that is our way of giving it back to a community which is providing you food. What are you
Hmm.
doing as a consumer or as somebody talking about it is just cribbing in and saying things which are just hot and heavy, and that's about it. So if you ask me personally, it doesn't. Personally, it is very, very difficult to impact me.
Okay,
I'm
that's
from
good to
that,
hear.
yeah, from that angle, I'm, I do have my weak points, but you cannot get in my head easily. So, so we listen, we hear, we get a lot of thrash also, but it just doesn't matter. It's
Okay.
just part of the game. We treat it as a stepping stone to our discovery for greatness.
That's nice. So Dipanshu, just building on now, when you speak about consumers specifically, and you said, it doesn't matter to you, your heart skin, but at the same time, meat as a category in India specifically is still very basic. I call it always basic, right? Let's say you take chicken meat, right? People will say boneless or bone, or they all think about chicken thigh, leg and piece. Same way when you come to meat, or when you think about ox meat, right? In India, we don't sell meat, but say the ox meat. So on your side, you have meat being sold. You have kadaknat, not kid, kadaknat chicken, right? These are specifically new categories. And if you look at type goat meat, you can have a chick meat, you can have a ribeye, which typically would get an ox. You don't get that in India, right? And that's something I miss. Also, actually, types of meats which you're introducing, the kadaknat and meat and turkey meat. Local Indians don't have that. Middle East don't have that. Now, that awareness and bringing in awareness until somebody has traveled internationally and they get uh, uh, aware about this new type of meat, new cut of meat. What is your process on that?
So we are important. The most important thing which we focus on is the source of any
Okay.
new meat which we want to introduce. That what are the quality parameters which whoever as a partner wants to introduce. Where are
Yeah.
they buying from? So we understand that entire sourcing strategy of all our vendors, and if we get satisfied, then only we go towards understanding the consumer behavior. Okay, so you come with kadaknath, I first need to look at that, is the product legit? Okay, then only I would be able to sell it. So my parameters are very, very stringent as an organization,
Yeah.
where we don't want to do any new meats which are sexy but which are not really done right. so
Unethical.
so, so once we are through with that sourcing part of it, then we go out and then do our consumer understanding of research and everything, that ये बिकेगा नहीं बिकेगा, customer expectation क्या है. Because I remember as a business when we started, I think first year, for first year we were selling pork also. ठीक है,
Okay.
to give it to the customers. They were all looking, because we were selling whatever the customer wanted us to
Yes.
sell, and we were very, very responsive to their feedbacks at that
Sure.
point in terms of what to do and what not to do. And then what we found out, you'll be amazed.
Okay.
There is so much stigma in the category, that chicken has different stigma, goat meat has a different issue, pork
Yeah.
has a different issue. We hired a Muslim guy, okay,
Okay.
as a builder or something. And one fine day I told him to do this delivery and all, and he was like, उसको पता नहीं था वो क्या है उसके अंदर, and he just went and did the delivery. And then he came back and he got to know that he delivered pork, and then
Okay.
he resigned. Okay, and I was like, what? I said, so कह रहा सर मैं मुस्लिम हूँ, तो मैं मेरे लिए तो ये हराम है. So
Hmm.
that was the first time I got to know that pork has some issues with Muslims as a community. And so after that, we started understanding that, okay, if we sell pork, we may not get Muslims customers, and which we wanted. Yeah, we don't want
Yeah.
Muslims to be not buying from us. And then we understood that how big the market is and what is the sourcing of the product and everything. And then we got a little convinced that, okay, pork as a category in India is not for us, at least now, and maybe later we'll think about it. So we deactivated that category. And now before we start any category, we look at where is it coming from, all of those quality hygiene parameters we are very strict about. तो वो होता है तो आगे जाते हैं. And then these stigmas are also something which we consider. Like if we sell, for example, for example, beef to anyways is banned in India. But even if you sell buff,
Ox meat.
which
Yeah.
buffalo, people have misconceptions about that also. That
Yes.
they start treating it that you're selling beef in
Yeah.
under that. In fact, one of the huge factories of huge brands got completely banned by government by telling them that you are selling beef, and they said that no, we are not selling beef, we are selling buffalo. So how do you go and explain the authorities that what you are doing is right?
Yeah.
It's a very, very sensitive category, and we have chosen safe products. And macro level understanding perception of us as a country is important. Consumer behavior, micro level societal pressures, we have to see everything we do. But again, I'm saying first we have to be convinced on the market opportunity, and also on the sourcing capability and everything. If that is good, then most of our things are fine to do. Recently, we launched imported turkey from
Yes,
US,
I saw that. Yeah.
imported duck, which did very well. So these categories are not taboo categories.
Yeah.
So you can do all whatever you want. But again, in this case, we got it from US. We don't want to sell a local slaughtered stuff where we don't know what's happening at the slaughtering. We don't know what's happening at the farming. So we need to know all our partners. We do a lot of due diligence and audits to get convinced that, okay, this is a good product to sell, and that's how we get it onboarded.
Uh, as I said, this is not your first rodeo. From an entrepreneurship, and specifically in this category, you also were a co-founder at Licious. Correct me. That's
Yeah,
how that's what you're
right,
linked in.
right, right.
Why did you leave Licious to start your own? If you don't,
So we actually had a difference of opinion at the concept stage only.
okay.
So the idea was mine. I pulled in the other team members on the idea, and we got an alignment on what we want to do, how we want to do. We had an understanding that got every month it used to get changed,
Okay.
which was something from a trust point of view, a dampener. Because when you start something and in that early time, you start seeing certain red flags, and then you start figuring out that, because see, partnerships and in business is like marriages. Okay,
Yeah.
so you have to live, eat, sleep, breathe with the other person. And that's where we thought we were able to see some differences on in terms of vision of the business.
Okay.
And we were also I mean, at least not from my side much, but there were a lot of politics which started happening once there was investor interest which was coming, and the idea got validated. The greed creeped in, and I like, okay, boss, this is getting messy and dirty, and I don't this is one of the reason I'm moving out of a corporate job to start something of my own. I don't want to go in the in a similar mess in a different clothes. So that's that. So I think a lot of differences initially made me pulled out of that, and then that's it. Nothing else.
Why you said you had that was your original idea as well, but why meat as a category? What you woke up on a right side or the wrong side and you said that, okay, let's do meat, right? Let's
No, no,
let's feed India.
not at all. Actually, it is year of failures and iterations. Okay.
Okay.
Which makes you a certain way as a thought process. So your thought process basically evolves. My thought process has evolved for ideation on ideas through many failures in a lot of startups, and seeing small companies where they get stuck and where they really do it wrong. And so I have seen that very closely, and that developed, I think, the muscle in my brain, which is the idea muscle, which got really really strong over a period of time. And then when I just stumbled onto this conversation with one of the leading online grocery players founders, and we were talking, and in just in that interaction I was able to spot this category as something which made me really intrigued about, what are you doing in this category. And he started sharing his pain points, and then I started putting my consumer brain and business brain together to integrate both, and I was able to get some momentum in my mind that, okay, this smells fishy. So that's
And you
how
fish on board.
sorry.
You got fishes on board, right? As part of that, it smells fishy. Interesting.
Yeah, so I think this was a very candid discussion about the business which we were doing, and my entrepreneurship kida wala dimag was active all the time. I was always curious about different businesses, what's happening and all, and food was something which anyways was very close to my heart.
Yeah, you did
Because,
bakery before this as well. Is that correct?
sorry.
You did a bakery as well
Yeah,
before.
yeah, 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 right.
Yeah.
So 2007 recession, when I got passed out, Anis, I my first entry was in recession. Okay, and that really taught me, a lot of things. First thing it taught me was that, boss, do business which is recession proof.
Yeah.
Okay, do whatever you want. You can do roti kapda makan, is still, not recession proof, but what is recession proof in my mind is education, healthcare, food. Okay, these are the things which nobody can live without.
Yeah.
Okay, and hence I started my first venture in education, and then I paid back my college fees just within 6 months of me joining my MBA, and my entire loan was repaid by that project. And that gave me a lot of confidence that, okay, I can do something of my own. And so yeah, I mean, so education gave me a lot of conviction in the area of education, healthcare. These are some things which are doing good to the society also. I think it's important for me as an individual that whatever I do, I don't want to create a robot, okay, which is eating jobs of people. Okay,
Yeah.
I want to do things which will empower, which will help, which will inspire, all of that. So education was something in the same lines. Then healthcare also was something on the similar lines, where you are helping people get better and it was preventive healthcare project. So that I resonated with me also, that how you need to be conscious about your health and live a happy hearty life.
Okay.
And then food, being a Punjabi, it was always something which was very close to me individually. I'm a big foodie till date. So come from a very very foodie family. I'm from the old Delhi, type of food
Yeah.
behaviors and families. So that ways हमारे को खाने के अलावा तो मतलब कुछ मजेदार लगता नहीं था लाइफ में.
Yeah.
और क्योंकि एक्चुअली और किसी चीज के पैसे भी नहीं होते थे, फ्रैंकली है, मतलब खाने के लिए पैसे होते थे. ठीक है. और वो
Yeah.
निकल जाते थे किसी तरीके से.
Yeah.
वहां पे हम मतलब अपने आप को रोक नहीं पाते थे.
Yeah.
तो बाकी सब चीजें तो सब लग्जरी है. आई थिंक खाना वाज समथिंग व्हिच वाज बेसिक. तो बेसिक
Yeah.
खाना है तो उसके साथ ज्यादा ही कुछ दिल लग गया हमारा. और फिर वो रिसेशन स्टोरी के साथ भी बहुत बढ़िया कनेक्ट हो रहा था. तो food as a category attracted me. Education till date healthcare, education, food is something which I am a big believer in till date and always will. And actually we've seen that in COVID. तो COVID, अब आपको लग रहा होगा, अब जो लोग देख रहे हैं कि भाई ये कैसे आइडिया है जो इसेंशियल में भी आ गया, ऑनलाइन भी आ गया, इसके पीछे बहुत लर्निंग और बहुत एवोल्यूशन है. इट्स नॉट कि हम लकी थे कोविड के अंदर. एक एक मायने में वी वर लकी, बट द अदर साइड इज दैट टू क्यूरेट दैट आइडिया कि बॉस ये आइडिया रिसेशन प्रूफ है, वो रिसेशन से ही निकला है. वो एक रिसेशन की लर्निंग है जो दूसरे रिसेशन में काम आई है. इट्स लाइक दैट. It's not a fluke.
So how do you build this idea muscle, right? You said you built an idea muscle. You've said that earlier as well. And is it just experiences which you like? If you have to give somebody an advice, people who've graduated in the last 2 years or are going to graduate this year, how do they build these experiences into an advantage, which I always call the unfair advantage? There is a book on that. And it's an amazing book. But how do you build this idea muscle and idea brain which you've created?
Basically, मैंने कोई बुक नहीं पढ़ी है लाइफ में, अनीस. I'll tell you. I stay away from acquisition of information, especially if it is coming from others people experiences. मेरा फंडा बहुत सिंपल है. मेरे को हैंड्स ऑन एक्सपीरियंस चाहिए बस, गलतियों का भी और सक्सेस का भी. ठीक है, आप बीट ही नहीं कर सकते किसी को. किताबों में आपने एक चैप्टर मिस कर दिया, आपकी वो क्या बोलते हैं, इनकम्प्लीट इंफॉर्मेशन, हाफ इंफॉर्मेशन इज डेंजरस. दैट इज एक्चुअली ट्रू. सो दैट वेज माय फंडा इज सिंपल कि करके देखो, करके सीखो. ठीक है, बातें मत करो. किताबें पढ़ने से थोड़ा सा आइडिया मिल जाएगा, बट दैट्स अबाउट इट. उससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. और एक्शन प्लान भी किताबों में नहीं होता है. एक्शन प्लान इज आउट इन द रोड. ठीक है, तो नो मैटर, मोटिवेशन मिल जाएगा. ठीक है, इंस्पिरेशन मिल जाएगी, वो ले लो आप. बट जो ये हम सक्सेस के फॉर्मूले ढूंढ रहे हैं ना, ये बाहर धक्के खा के ही निकलते हैं. ठीक है, ये अंदर नहीं. किताबों के अंदर आपको पढ़ने के लिए, बात करने के लिए बहुत कुछ मिल जाएगा. मैं बात कर रहा हूँ कि यहाँ पे यू आर एबल टू लिव इट, राइट? So my idea muscle was with a lot of iterations. As I told you, मैं दुकान पे भी बैठा हूँ यार. मैंने मतलब सारे ऑड काम्स करे हैं. ठीक है, और सिर्फ उसका एक मकसद होना चाहिए ना लाइफ में किसी का भी. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, ये बहुत जरूरी है कि आपका लॉन्ग टर्म प्लान थोड़ा सा क्लियर हो सके as early as possible in your life. That will really help you as a student or as a न्यूकमर इन द कॉर्पोरेट जॉब. कि बॉस मेरे को 15 साल बाद क्या करना है, 10 साल बाद क्या करना है, 20 साल बाद क्या करना है. ठीक है, जैसे मैंने बोला कि मेरा स्कूल टाइम से ही क्लियर था कि पहली चीज तो ये क्लैरिटी जो है ना, आई थिंक द नंबर 1 पॉइंट इन द आइडिया मसल needs to be a long term vision and clarity of that vision. ठीक है, now this is something which is iterative. It's not something which is set in stone where you can say कि आज के दिन में बच्चा बोले कि मेरे को इंजीनियर बनना है, और वो उसके बाद उसको माँ बाप बोल रहे हैं कि भैया तू डॉक्टर बन जा, वो कोई उसका फ्रेंड बोल रहा है कि भाई तू स्टार्टअप कर ले. So there is this
बना
exactly. So what I'm saying, I'm not saying don't listen to these people. Listen to these people. Do your own thing. Believe in your thing. If for example you think कि आपको इंजीनियर बनना है, तो इंजीनियर के रास्ते पे चलो. ठीक है, उस पे आगे थोड़ा सा आगे चलो, बट समझ जाओ कि कहाँ तक पहुंचोगे. उसके बाद भी अगर आप पीछे नहीं आते हो ना, तब देन यू आर गोइंग इनटू अ डंजन कंप्लीटली. ठीक है, तो दैट वेज कोर्स करेक्शन इज समथिंग इन अ करियर happens a lot. स्टार्टअप्स में होता है यार, कितने लोग पिवट कर रहे हैं, अभी ये कर रहे हैं, कल वो कर रहे हैं, ये कर रहे हैं, तो दैट्स फाइन. there's nothing wrong with it. बट एक लेवल की क्लैरिटी जरूरी है कि एज एन इंडिविजुअल व्हाट इज योर गोल इन लाइफ, व्हाट डू यू वांट टू डू. ठीक है, धंधा करना है, अच्छा ठीक है, धंधा करना है तो किस टाइप का धंधा करना है. रेडी लगानी है, दुकान खोलनी है, बिजनेस कॉर्पोरेट टावर में बैठना है, या फिर आपको धक्के खाने हैं, रियल एस्टेट एजेंट बनना है. ठीक है, मतलब एक लेवल की क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए ना कि किस टाइप की लाइफ आपको चाहिए. उसी से आपका क्लैरिटी थोड़ा सा रिफाइन होगा. सो रिफाइन this clarity as much as possible you can at a continuous level. Not कि मैंने 2 साल सोचा और तीसरे साल मैंने ये कर लिया और अब ये बहुत बढ़िया चल रहा है, मैं यही करूंगा. नो, No, it doesn't happen like that. It takes time, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of self introspection which you have to do. एंड मार्केट्स चेंज, बिहेवियर चेंज, डायनेमिक एक्सरसाइज है ये कोई मतलब फिक्स्ड एक्सरसाइज नहीं है. तो इसका कोई फिक्स्ड फॉर्मूला भी नहीं है. ठीक है, इसका सिंपल ये फॉर्मूला है कि कीप चेकिंग विद वॉट एवर यू आर डूइंग इंटरनली एंड एक्सटर्नली. Is it resonating? If it is, stick with it long term and keep doing it. If it doesn't, pull out immediately. So मेरे साथ जैसे मैंने बताया फंडा was कि मेरे को I did not want to do a job. Okay.
Yeah.
So
But you did a
like,
job, and I want to
I
come
did,
on that.
I did,
You did
did
jobs, right? You did.
I did job
Yeah.
for my parents. Okay, I wanted to tell them that okay, पढ़ाई कर ली. अच्छा, actually not for parents, even for me कि पढ़ाई कर ली है तो पढ़ाई करने के बाद जब प्लेसमेंट लगती है तो पता चले कि उसका कुछ रिजल्ट तो आ रहा है. क्या रिजल्ट आ रहा है? तो वो जो रिजल्ट आया है ना अनीस, वो बहुत खराब था. ठीक है. मुझे ना
मतलब क्या लेवल का खराब था वो दिपांशु?
बिफोर द जॉब जो मेरी फर्स्ट नौकरी थी ना, उससे पहले मुझे आई वाज फुल ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस. लाइक आई कैन just do whatever I want to do in life, I can achieve it.
Okay.
See, this is the problem in the entire, this is a societal problem, I think. Okay. It has nothing to do with jobs. As a society, we want to sell our own stories to the generations, right? So that they are in a certain limited manner, they can think and they can be in a limited way. बट मेरा वो लिमिटेड वाला फंडा एज अ इंडिविजुअली नहीं है. तो मेरा तो वायरिंग मैंने बोला ना वहां पे खराब थी कि मैं लिमिटेड हूं ही नहीं. मेरे से लिमिटेड नहीं सोचा जाता है. ठीक है, यू कैन नॉट पुट मी इन अ बॉक्स as simple as that. I can be in a box but I'll break it and come out. वहां पे वो टूट जाएगा. तो जब नौकरी लगी तो उसके बाद यार कंपनी अच्छी थी, सब बढ़िया था. तो मैंने बोला ये क्या काम करा रहे हैं और क्या क्या सैलरी मिल रही है, वाज वेरी वेरी डिमोटिवेटिंग फॉर मी. ठीक है, तो मेरे को वहां पे अपने से ना, क्योंकि मेरी अपने आप से एक्सपेक्टेशन इतनी ज्यादा थी, वो वहां पे टूट गई बहुत ज्यादा. तो 6 महीने तो मेरे को उससे उभरने में लगे, मेंटल ट्रॉमा से. So for 6 months I have not worked in that
You had
company.
PTSD almost.
Almost this was like a slap which I got as a reality कि अच्छा मैंने इतना पैसा लगाया, सब एजुकेशन करी, सब करते हैं, और उसके बाद ये क्या नौकरी मिली है मेरे को. सो और ये नौकरी में मेरे को क्या सीखने को मिल रहा है, was something which was making me really really doubt myself. तो वो 6 महीने मुझे पहले तो उसी को अंदर से समझने में लग गए, एंड देन उसके बाद थोड़ा काम करना शुरू किया, और उसके बाद फिर ठीक है थोड़ा टाइम रहे, और फिर देन आई रियलाइज दैट ओके बॉस, यहाँ में भी शायद ये नौकरी खराब है. दूसरी
कोई और
नौकरी
जगह
खराब.
देखते.
हाँ. तो फिर ऐसे 2 4 5 नौकरियां करी, और उसके बाद लगा कि भाई सारी ही नौकरियां खराब हैं. ठीक है, तो अब ये इंट्रोस्पेक्शन वाला नॉन सेटलिंग एटीट्यूड है एक पर्सनालिटी, जो सेटल नहीं होता है. ठीक है, जो चाहता है कि बॉस मेरे को वो चाहिए जो मेरे को मेरे लिए बना है. ठीक है, और मेरे लिए क्या बनना है मैं ढूंढ लूंगा. ठीक है, उसमें एफर्ट करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, वो 5 6 8 जितनी भी नौकरियां करी उसमें टाइम वेस्ट हुआ यार, बहुत बहुत फ्री में भी काम किया है उन लोगों के लिए. ठीक है, तो 2 2 जॉब्स भी करी हैं. ठीक है, मतलब ऑड जॉब्स विच मतलब मुझे याद भी नहीं है मैंने मतलब क्या 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 काम करे हैं. तो बट उसका उस पूरे एपिसोड में अच्छी चीज, इंटरेस्टिंग चीज ये है कि कभी भी डीमोटिवेशन नहीं आई. ठीक है, ये क्लियर था कि ये सब टेम्परेरी है. एक चीज नहीं जो बहुत मेरे को लगता है विच इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट in every aspect of your life, not only professional but personal also, is this shall to pass. ठीक है, कि कुछ भी परमानेंट नहीं है. आपकी अमेजिंग गूगल की नौकरी भी परमानेंट नहीं है. रिसेशन आएगा, कोविड आएगा, और वो आपको हिला देगा. ठीक है, यहाँ पे हम काम कर रहे हैं ऐसे कि भाई मतलब हमने वी हैव लैंडेड somewhere and then this is going to be always. It's not. You have to keep brushing your skills, you have to keep upgrading yourself, you have to keep introspecting कि भाई मेरे को क्या सही रहेगा. मैं अभी ये सही चल रहा है, 4 महीने बाद ठीक है, 8 महीने बाद क्या होगा आप नहीं प्रिडिक्ट कर सकते. एक स्टेज तक नहीं प्रिडिक्ट कर सकते. उसके बाद आपकी ये जैसे ही डिफरेंट डिफरेंट क्लैरिटीज क्लियर होती रहती हैं, उसके बाद आप फिर थोड़े से मास्टर हो जाते हो, आपको पैटर्न दिखने लग जाते हैं, आपको समझ आ जाता है कि अच्छा ठीक है, ये यहाँ से होता है, वो वहां से होता है. तो आई थिंक
Yeah.
दैट हैज हैपेंड विद मी. I'm a learner for life, I would say, and student of life, कि भाई देखते रहो क्या चल रहा है और अपना keep iterating, evolving, and then something or the other will happen with you. So that is, a power of manifestation also, where you keep.
I believe in strong. Yeah.
Yeah, and that happened also. It hota hai wo, this is not something which is just in the books. A lot of things are real, but करनी पड़ती हैं यार. करना बहुत थोड़ा सा ना लोगों को लगता है कि दिमाग में आ गया तो सब हो जाता है, ऐसा नहीं होता.
Oh, you have a lot of failures. You will have a lot of aha moments. के कहाँ पहुँच गए and कहाँ निकले कहाँ पहुँच गए. But if you have to relive this, would you still do a job to get here where you are?
Yeah, I am stubborn like that. Yeah, I think as a person, if my personality is the same, I will do the same things. I will not change. Uh, but of course, my personality is different. Then I will, take a different path. But I think the whatever cards I've been dealt with, I have played them. I would say above average, if not excellent.
Yeah. You spoke about one thing कि books या किसी और से inspiration ले तो you go ahead and understand what has helped them, what has you those learnings, right? So as you have been embarking on the business journey and building your business, do you have a mentor in life you look up
I
to?
wish I had. I wish I had. I have had mentors for different things for different times. So because you are constantly changing, your mentors will also change. मैंने वही बोला ना, we are living in a very dynamic environment. आप कैसे एक किसी के साथ मतलब एक ही थॉट प्रोसेस में रहोगे और उसी से ही चलते रहोगे, वो बहुत रिडंडेंट थॉट प्रोसेस है. वो मेंटर भी खुद अपने आप को ट्रेन नहीं कर रहा है, अगर इवन इफ देयर इज अ मेंटर हु इज स्टबनली होल्डिंग टू अ सर्टेन थॉट प्रोसेस,
Yeah.
वो बंदा चेंज ही नहीं हो रहा है, अगर उसका थॉट प्रोसेस भी इवॉल्व नहीं हो रहा है, तो आप उसी के साथ वहीं फंस जाओगे.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, my thing has been that I've been outgrowing a lot of people, okay, including mentors. So
Okay.
a lot of people have come and said this, that, all of that. I have taken whatever I thought is right, and then with my own right or wrong judgments, I have gone ahead with what I believed in. सब कुछ सही नहीं हुआ है, गलत भी हुआ है. इसमें गलत के लिए आपको तैयार रहना है, गलत के लिए स्ट्रेंथ बनानी है, तभी सही होगा. गलत की
Yeah.
स्ट्रेंथ नहीं होगी तो सही नहीं होगा. ठीक है, तो हम उल्टा करने लग जाते हैं. हम ये सोचते हैं कि भाई गलत हो ही क्यों. आप
Yeah.
नहीं अवॉइड कर सकते उसको, तो उसकी स्ट्रेंथ बना लो. ठीक है, और उसकी गलत की स्ट्रेंथ कोई मेंटर नहीं बना के दे सकता.
And this is so profound, that I come across a lot of people that एक ही mentors को पकड़ के खड़े बैठे हैं. And I'm not against that, but like to your point, if the mentor himself or herself are not evolving, then you should be better off by peacefully exiting out of that
I'll give you an
program.
example. Mentor like a guru. ठीक है, let's
Yeah.
call him a guru. ठीक है, अब कितने टाइप के गुरु हैं आज के डेट में मार्केट के अंदर. ठीक है,
सभी
वो
गुरु है
एक
यार.
हाँ, वो एक तबके के लेवल के लोगों के साथ रेजोनेट करते हैं. ठीक है, आप देखोगे कि इनकी स्टिकेबिलिटी, इनके रिटेंशन बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है. ठीक है. तो इनके साथ लोग बहुत
Yeah.
बहुत जो एजेड लोग हैं ना, वो टिकते हैं, क्योंकि उनको उनको उनके पास हिम्मत नहीं है, उनके पास एनर्जी नहीं है, और उनके पास वो एक्सपोजर भी नहीं है कि मैं दूसरे और गुरुज को फॉलो करूं. ठीक है,
Yeah.
guru mentors is almost the same concept.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you look at Gita, or if you look at anything, there is no guru. You are your own guru, right?
Yeah.
So this is precisely what I'm talking about, that you yourself have to burn and die every day and do whatever has to happen. Everybody has a role to play in your life which will come. take
Yeah.
that take that with a pinch of salt. Do whatever you feel like, उनके साथ जो उन्होंने सही बताया, बहुत सारी चीजें मेरे को बताई हैं जो उनके साथ मैं आज टिका हुआ हूँ. इट्स नॉट दैट आई एम अ प्रोडक्ट ऑफ माई सेल्फ, ऐसा नहीं
Yeah.
है. I am a product of a lot of people who I have interacted with and learned from them, executed, validated. मेरे लिए सबसे important चीज है validation and ease.
Yeah.
अगर validation नहीं होती है ना
But what
किसी
for validation? What for validation?
वैलिडेशन इन एग्जीक्यूशन यार, मतलब फॉर एग्जांपल इफ यू आर सेइंग कि आंखें बंद करके ऐसे बैठ जाओ और आपको एनलाइटनमेंट हो जाएगी फॉर एग्जांपल, ठीक है, तो वो पहली बात तो मेरे को बहुत डाउट है उसके ऊपर, ठीक है. माय रैशनल माइंड डज नॉट बिलीव इन इट, ठीक है. नाउ यू से दैट ओके देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड इरैशनल व्हिच इज बियॉन्ड साइंस एंड व्हिच इज बियॉन्ड लॉजिक. आई लिसन टू दैट आल्सो, ओके. इट्स नॉट दैट आई एम सेइंग नो टू दैट कॉन्सेप्ट. सो उसमें भी जब तक मेरे को नहीं दिखेगा, ठीक है, तब तक I'll always be a little skeptical. I may listen to it, but I'll always be skeptical. So वो skepticism जो दूर होता है किसी भी कॉन्सेप्ट का, वो करके ही होता है. वो सुन के नहीं होता है, वो किसी को देख के नहीं होता है, ठीक है. कि आपने बोल दिया, हाँ जी आपने कर लिया, बहुत अच्छी बात है, मैंने किया, मैंने एक तरीके से किया है, ठीक है. अब देखो, कॉमन चीजें आपको बहुत सारे लोगों में मिल जाएंगी जो स्ट्रगल करते हैं या जो कुछ अचीव करते हैं लाइफ में, वो कॉमन चीजें मिल जाएंगी आपको, ठीक है. ऐसा नहीं है कि नहीं मिलेंगी, बट क्या पता आपने कुछ और डिस्कवर कर लिया अपने अंदर जो उन्होंने नहीं किया है यार, तो बी ओरिजिनल. प्रॉब्लम पता क्या है अनीस, ये सब लोग
Copy.
कॉपी कर रहे हैं सब, कि मैं मेंटर को कॉपी कर लूं, मैं उस गुरु को कॉपी कर लूं, मैं उसकी लाइफ जी लूं, मैं अगर मेरी वैसे लाइफ होगी तो शायद मैं वैसे जी लूं. दिस इज ऑल बुलशिट. यू आर वेस्टिंग योर टाइम एंड एनर्जी. You are a unique person, you have a unique path. Discover that path. For to discover that path you have to walk and fall and then get up and then walk and then fall and then get up and then run. ऐसे ही आएगा यार. guru
Yeah.
mentorship Guru mentorship, in my view, is a shortcut which everybody is looking for, which can be there, but it has a short span of life. That is it. It is not long standing.
This
It should
conversation
not
I'm
be long standing also, because a long standing mentorship will become obsession, and obsession will again become a limitation for you.
so so true. And through the relationship, I'm just kind of collecting the point. It probably disturbed people thinking towards corporate jobs. Almost in this part of the conversation, we've disturbed people's process of leadership and rules and all of that. And that's a good thing in my mind, because you read books, but there is very interesting something I learned over YouTube today, watching this video, and it was profound. It's called the third way or third door. And what that third door is, some club गए होंगे. If you've been to a club, there is clubs में line लगती है. Is rational behavior होता है. सब में खड़े लाइन में खड़े जाते हैं. So which is typically that will happen in club. The second door, which is that's the first door. The second door is for privilege, for people who are affluent. A bounce will open for them. If there's a mantri or there is an artist or somebody, they'll open the door for them. But there is a third door, जो हमने किया हुआ है, right? Gate crashing, as they're called, or finding a back door, or finding, and what you're talking about is that third door, right? And what you've lived through this, right? And I'm seeing through that, which is an amazing thing, because and I also believe that, किसी और ने इंजीनियर बना है तो हम भी इंजीनियर बन जाएंगे, वो डॉक्टर बना है, वो हमारे द पर्सन आई लुक अप टू इज अ डॉक्टर एंड आई आल्सो वांट टू गिव बैक, व्हिच इज अ प्रोफाउंड थिंग दैट यू वांट टू गिव बैक, बट देयर इट्स नॉट नेसेसरी दैट ओनली यू बिकम अ डॉक्टर एंड यू give back, right? There are many other ways to give back. So no, this conversation has been fun, has been profound. We started with decoding your career, but it went in a very philosophical way in many different ways, and I loved it to hear that perspective. And at that age which you are in, to have such a clarity of thought, which I can see really happening in your business as well, which we uncovered, is profound, right? You're not in the rat race. Basically, I would just say that everybody कि मुझे भी GMB चाहिए, मुझे भी GMB चाहिए, right?
Nobody should be. How do you see your Elon Musk rocket बना लेता क्या rat race में यार?
वो नहीं बना सकता था.
बताओ ना, कोई कुछ नहीं कर सकता रैट रेस में. रैट रेस इज लिमिटेड. सो आपको पता होना चाहिए कि रैट रेस आपको कहाँ तक लेके जा सकती है. और अगर वो गोल आपके लिए बहुत है, तब आप रैट रेस में जाओ, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। ये क्लैरिटी भी नहीं है लोगों में।
नाइस।
दिस इज द बेयर मिनिमम ना यार, आप कर सकते हो अपने लिए।
या नाउ
उसके बाद
दीपांशु,
फिर हाँ,
no, this has been a wonderful conversation. I really appreciate you taking time out. This is fun. It's been fun for me. And hopefully we busted a lot of myths today. That was the idea. While I try to decode you, hopefully we also busted a lot of myths from a startup perspective as well. So thank you
sure.
for your time. It's been fun conversation.
Perfect. Pleasure is all mine, Anis, and I wish you all the best for your new
Thank you.
channel, and I'm very happy to see this initiative. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Thanks.